Welcome back to our channel. My name is Teacher Smith and today we are back to the final day of the challenge. So the topic that we'll be discussing today is about changing operations. Now to understand this topic well, I have taken a question from the past years of Spring Cup. Let's have a look. Here the question is, write plus or minus between two numbers such that the equation is true. Here I have numbers and then it should be equal to 13. Let's try to understand this question. Here we can see there are numbers, but the numbers have some gap in between them. See, gap, 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 gap. And in this gaps I have to put either plus or minus in such a way. When I add plus and minus, the answer of this should be 13. So what should we do? Now let's just check. If I keep randomly adding plus and minus, because there's so many gaps, if I keep randomly adding, will take us a lot of time. And there are so many gaps. So that's the problem here. If I keep doing one by one, might take time. So what's the best thing that we can do? Check, the problem is there are two operations, plus or minus. Because of two operations, it will take us a lot of time. But what if there's just one operation? What if everything is minus? Is it okay? If everything is minus, can we get answer as 13? Of course not, it's just getting smaller and smaller. But what if everything is plus? Then what happens? Let's just have a look. If we try everything as plus and we add these numbers, what will be the answer? You can pause the video and can calculate. Here the answer will be 21. But this is not the thing that we are looking for. We are looking for 13, not 21. This means there are some of the numbers that are minus here. So which are the numbers that we have to remove? Now let's just have a look. This is 21, but this is 13. From 21 to 13, what is the change that we need? We need to get smaller. How much smaller? Oh, to calculate, we can just calculate 21 minus 13, which is 8. So from this 21, I have to remove 8 to get 13. Remove 8 means what? Which numbers I have to remove? Now we might think we just have to remove 8 and we can get the answer. Now since there is no 8 directly, either we can remove 5 and 3 because 5 plus 3 is 8, or we can remove 6 and 2. But is that okay? Let's just check one. Let's just check if 5 and 3 now is plus. If I change it to minus, what will be the answer? If I see here. Now let's calculate. You can pause the video and calculate. If you calculate, the answer is 5, not 13. So if I remove 8 from this 21, the answer will be 5, not 13 that we are looking for. So how much we should remove? To understand this, let's take a small example. What if I ask you, what is 20 plus 4? Wow, very good, that was fast. We can tell it's 24. 20 plus 4 is 24. Now, what will happen if I just remove this 4? If I just remove this 4 and make it minus, change the sign. Now, just removing 4, is the answer 20? No, when I remove 4, the answer is 16. We thought if I just change the sign from plus to minus, the answer will be minus 4. But how much it is? What is the change here? Oh, the change here is just 8. We thought it will be 4, but why it's 8? Let's try to understand this. Check what happens. What is 20 plus 4? This means I have 20. And when I add 4, it increases. The number gets more by 4, that is 24. Now 20 minus 4 means what? I am losing this 4 and also I am losing the 4 from this 20 also. So this is the reason why the total change is just 8. So what happens when we just change a sign? We change the sign, this means here we reduce the number and we also reduce the same number again. So whatever the change is 8. To get this change 8, we can just change the sign of 4 because it's the same two parts. It's just like a half. This is 8, this is 4. It's just like half of 8. Half, half. What if the change is 10? Then how much should we remove? Oh, just 5. If the change is 10, 5 and 5, half of 10. If the change is 14, then oh, just 7 and 7. What if the change is 20? Then just 10 and 10. Very good. So whatever the change is, we take half of it. Now let's try to see. Here I want to get this 8. So I just change the sign of which number? Yeah, we just change the sign of half of 8. What is half of 8? We just saw it's just 4. So for this 4, I just make it minus. Rest everything will be plus. Now if we calculate, the answer is 13, which is correct. So what we can understand from this type of question? This type of question is having plus or minus. That is two operations that we have to change. So whenever there's changing operations, there's just three simple steps that we can follow. First, we can try adding all the numbers because removing is not an option. Add all the numbers first. Second, we can find out what is the change from our addition to the real answer. What is the change? And whatever the change is, take half of it and then remove. Remove means minus. So these three simple steps to change the operation. First, add all. Second, we find the change. And third, remove half of the change. And that's how we can get the answer. Now, if you have understood this topic well, you can try the challenge for today. Here, similar question, but the answer we want is 16. So, you can try and let me know your answers in the comment box. But what if you are not in the group? Then you can simply scan this QR code to join the group and then submit your answer. For now, I am Teacher Smith, signing off right now for the 3 days of challenges. I'll see you in the next challenge. Bye-bye.